Hi guys, I'm Dave Chesson of Kindlepreneur, and in today's video, I want to show you how to set up effective and efficient Amazon ads in less than 10 minutes. We're going to go over creating your first sponsored product ad, as well as the lock screen ad. And if you would like to learn more about book marketing as well, go ahead and click the subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so as to learn when my next video comes out. Furthermore, I also offer a full free video course on Amazon ads, which you can access at amscourse.com. So be sure to check that out. And with that, let's go ahead and jump on and start creating ads.
For this example, I'm going to use Val Bright's account. She's the author of Pay Your Student Loans Fast. She's a top-notch writer, and anyone who wants to learn how to get out of debt should absolutely check this out. Her book's use of Amazon ads is a great example for most authors because Val is not backed with a famous name or giant following. Instead, she's executed her ads aptly, and because of this, it's helped to make her continuous extra sales even years after she published it. And with that, let's jump in and start making ads. First, go into your KDP account, find the book that you want to set up for an Amazon ads campaign, and click Promote and Advertise. Once you've done that, you'll want to look at the Run Ad Campaign section and select the marketplace you want to advertise in this case, the US. Then click Create an Ad Campaign. If this is your first time doing so, Amazon will at some point ask you for information for your ads account, including information on how you'll pay for the ads. Since Val already did that, it won't ask us for this. After you've done that, to start, we'll select a sponsored product ad. Then scroll down and give your campaign a name. I personally like to call my campaign the name of the book using an abbreviation and abbreviation of what type of campaign I'm doing, such as SPA for sponsored product ad or LSA for lock screen ad. Also, I'll add something that identifies what I'm specifically doing for this ad, like targeting something. Think of that as like a campaign descriptor. And finally, I'll add the date. Later on, when you're advertising many books or testing different things, this naming structure will help you to quickly see which campaign is which, thus making marketing your ads much easier. Personally, I like to leave mine with a no end date, unless I'm setting up this account for a specific promotion week or to coincide with something special. But otherwise, it's best to leave it at no end date. Next, you'll need to give yourself a daily budget. This is the max amount of money you're willing to spend per day in this campaign. We'll then want to select manual targeting. In manual targeting, you get to select your keywords, whereas with automatic targeting, Amazon selects them for you based on your book's metadata. I highly recommend you do manual because the automatic targeting is very problematic, and usually Amazon selects terms that are very competitive, which means much more costly. Once we select the manual targeting, the next section is the campaign bidding strategy. I'll cover bids and bidding strategy in the next section, but as for the purpose of this, you have three options. Dynamic bids down, which allows Amazon to lower your bid whenever there is an opportunity to, and still allow your ad to show. In the end, this will actually save you money. Dynamic bids up and down, which allows Amazon to change the bid up or down however they think will help your ads best. And fixed bids, where you give a bid amount and it stays that way. Which one you choose is dependent on how comfortable you feel. When I first started off making my first set of campaigns for my books and was offered, I chose dynamic bids down. That way, I always knew that I'd never pay more than what I had set as a bid. But now that I'm experienced and know that my books do well on Amazon, I prefer to start my first set of bids with dynamic bids up and down, letting Amazon make decisions on how best to position my book and make more ad sales. But this is up to you. So to recap, if you're new and worried about Amazon ads costing too much, then select dynamic bids down. However, if you're seasoned and have experience with your books doing well, select dynamic bids up and down for your set of campaigns. Next, we need to select whether we want to add custom text to our ad or not. I personally like to use custom text because it can help add more to your book, and later on in this course, I'll show you how to write custom text that sells. Next is if you want to add any more books or versions of your book to the ad campaign. I usually leave this alone since I already chose the book I was going to advertise. Next is targeting. With this, we have two options, and you can only do one per campaign. There is targeting by keywords or targeting by product. Let's start with keyword targeting. This means that you want to tell Amazon which keyword phrases you want your ad to show up for. These are the terms that people would type into Amazon when they are searching for their next book. You have 3 ways to select your keywords: related, enter list, and upload file. Related is a list of keywords that Amazon thinks are associated with your book. They have pulled these based on your title, subtitle, 7 selected keywords, inside the book, and other metadata factors. Enter list is where you can manually enter keyword phrases and add them. This is usually the best option for us and will be the best way to select your keywords. Don't worry, later in the course, I'll show you exactly how to do this. And finally, upload file, which is where you can upload an Excel file of keywords. However, you have to use Amazon's templated CSV in order to do this. So if you have an export or an Excel file full of keywords that you made, but didn't use Amazon's template, it won't work. And using Amazon's templated file is problematic and time consuming, so I'm not a fan of using this. Below these 3 sections, you'll find 2 parts: bid and filter by. With bid, you can select whether you want any keyword you add to just use the suggested bid, which is what Amazon thinks you should bid in order to get seen for it, or custom bid, which is a bid you choose for that section, or default, which is just a set of numbers you can enter. I personally like to start my campaigns using a default number, somewhere between 26 cents to 51 cents. You might be asking, why the weird numbers? Well, when selecting a bid number, never go with a common number like those that end with 0 or 5. That's because most authors just put those in. They think 25 cents or 50 cents. I like to go 1 cent or 2 cents above this. So say I want to select 50 cents, then I'll make it 51 cents. That way, I'll beat all the other authors who selected 50 cents. Pretty cool, right? Okay, next is the section called filter by, which lists broad, phrase, and exact. What this means is that you're letting Amazon know how liberal they can be with the keyword phrases you selected. I'll explain. Broad means you can show your ad for any phrase that contains the keywords in any order and includes plurals, variations, and other related keywords. So, say you selected keyword phrase is pay off student loans as an example. Using broad means that Amazon can also show your ad for phrases like pay off student loan, the single version of loan, pay student loan, loan pay off being 2 separate words, or loan payoff with payoff being 1, student loan payoff, and more. Phrase means they can show your ad for any phrase that contains the exact phrase or sequence of keywords. Using the same example, this would only show up for payoff, payoff student, off student loans, and so forth. But no rearranging any of the words that were in the original phrase. And finally, exact means only this exact phrase as it is and nothing else. So in this case, it could only show pay off student loans and nothing else. I personally like to make all my keywords broad phrases so as to give Amazon the best chance to show my book. Because remember, you don't pay Amazon until a shopper clicks on it, and shoppers only click on your book if it is something they're interested in. Therefore, it doesn't hurt to give Amazon more opportunity to show your book. So I select broad match for my keywords. Okay, so as you can see, you can not only select keywords from related, but also go in and add some manually as well. Before clicking to add, ensure you've selected whether you want broad, phrase, and what bid type. Then, once you click add, the necessary information will show up. Okay, next is the negative keyword targeting. This is a section where I can tell Amazon to absolutely not target any keyword that contains any specific word or phrases. So for this, I leave both exact and phrase checked, and will only list words where they have a negative effect on my book. For me, there are only 2 cases where I enter something here. The first is counteract against shoppers looking for deals or free things. So I enter in words like free, free book, free ebook. I believe this is important because if people are typing into Amazon free anything and Amazon shows my book, they may click on it, costing me the money, but are going to be harder to convince to buy something because they started their search looking for freebies. Therefore, it's best to ensure your ad doesn't show up in front of these shoppers. The second is any phrase that might mislead or confuse a shopper. What I mean is, if there is a topic I absolutely don't want to be associated with and want to ensure I don't show up for or confuse my shoppers. Like, say I wrote a very one-sided political book that followed a Democratic leader. I wouldn't want my book to show up for searches made by pro-Republican shoppers. That could cost me money and cause me to get bad reviews. No, thank you. Another example would be if I wrote a wholesome Christian romance. I wouldn't want my book showing up for erotica or hot and steamy. Again, the cover might not show erotica or steamy, but to the shopper, they type something in and they saw my book. They might still click and be disappointed when they read the description and realize, oh, this is wholesome Christian, not what I was looking for. Now, don't go overboard on this and start listing lots of terms that might be different or potentially confusing. Only use phrases here when you strongly believe it would confuse your shoppers or be something you vehemently don't want to be a part of. For me, I've only filled in the free terms since I don't write in anything that needs strong clarification or I'd vehemently be opposed to showing up for. So I'll just write in my usual. Okay, so now that we've looked at keyword targeting, let's go back and look at product targeting. Unlike keyword targeting, where we input what words or phrases we want to show up for, in product targeting, we ask Amazon to generally show us for certain categories or specific products and books. First is the default bid. Unlike keyword targeting, you don't get as many options, and so you can only select the default bid. Then, when you choose to target something, that will be the bid that is attached. So I'll add 51 cents. Below is either categories or individual products. Let's start with categories. Now, usually Amazon will show a couple of suggested categories that they believe fit your book. There are two very important things, though, that you should know about categories. One, the suggested categories listed here are not specifically the categories that you selected for your book or are attached to your book. There are ones that Amazon believes would fit your book based on the list of categories they use for this type of ad. Which brings me to my next point. 2. The categories they use here are not the full list of 14,000 plus book and ebook categories Amazon has. Instead, this is a very limited list of book and product categories that Amazon, for some reason, has designed as the ones they'll use for this type of ad. So, you have the recommended ones, or you can search for some here. While this might seem nice, it's been mine and many other authors' observation that targeting through categories is very fruitless and has poor returns. However, I wouldn't say the same for targeting individual products. In this case, you can tell Amazon specifically what books or products you want to show up for by finding them or typing in their ASIN number. In a later video, I'll explain how and why this can be an excellent type of campaign. Okay. So you can either do a keyword targeting or product targeting. Depending on which one you do, you can now move on to the next section, which is the section where you can add your custom text. What's neat about this is that this section here, you can see what it will look like. If at any time you need to leave and can't finish, then just click Save as Draft. Once you're good to go with your campaign, click Launch Campaign. And that's it. You'll receive an email from Amazon letting you know that you submitted a campaign and that it is currently under review by their moderators. This usually takes between 1 to 3 days, and once approved, you'll be live. Great. So now that we've set up a sponsored ad for our book, let's go ahead and create a lock screen ad. Again, go through the same process through our KDP dashboard, but this time we'll select lock screen. And just like sponsored product ads, we'll give the campaign a name, set a date, a budget, as well as pacing, meaning get Amazon to spend our campaign as fast as it can or spread it out. Next is the products like last time. And finally, we get to interest targeting. Here, you have to pick a general category. And I mean really general. Because of this super broad targeting, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of lock screen. In essence, you need to target and compete against super broad terms, and that usually is a recipe for advertising disaster. But moving on, you can type in how much you'd be willing to pay for a click. Again, notice the dynamic bidding is not offered here. Hopefully in the future, Amazon changes that. But for now, or the time of recording this, Amazon does not. And finally, you can get to type in your custom text, and you can see how it will look on your Kindle e-reader or Fire tablet in both the lock screen and the home page for each. Then, when you're ready, click Submit Campaign for review. Again, you can expect anywhere from a day to 3 days before Amazon will get back to you with your approval or rejection of the ad.
Alright guys, as you can see, creating ads is pretty simple. Now granted, there's more steps and things to learn, and like I said before, you can access my full free video course on Amazon ads by going to amscourse.com. It'll give you everything you need in order to take it to the next step. And with that, I'm Dave Chesson of Kindlepreneur, signing off. Cheers!